Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today, as you can probably tell from the thumbnail and from the title, I have got a massive unhaul here, and you can't even actually fully see the extent of this box, I don't think. But we're going to go through the books I'm going to unhaul, and we're just going to talk about why, and I'm going to move this slightly, and you can probably tell what some of them are, purely from seeing the side of them. So, yeah, just going to move this out of the way a little bit, and then we're going to start talking about these books. And yes, I do still have some Christmassy pyjamas on, because why the heck not? So some of these I plan to give away to charity, some of these I will love to try and sell, and as you're watching this video, I'd love to say that yeah, these books will be up and ready to be sold on, I don't know, Vinted or wherever people sell books, but I'm not gonna lie, they're probably not, and that's also okay. So let's just get straight on into it and dive in. This video is also gonna help me to organise which books are going to charity and which books are gonna try and be sold. So first up I've got this book, which is, I don't even know what, 206 Bones by Kathy Reichs. I was given this as a Secret Santa present years ago, and I am not a massive, I think this is, oh yeah, from the author who inspired the hit TV show Bones. I love watching crime show things like CSI and that lot, but I'm not really a big reader of it, so I will be donating this. So that is book number one. I'd also love to see at the end of this video how many books I'm getting rid of, because I don't know. I've just, as we moved, I just filled up this box, and I have no idea what's going to happen. So next up, unfortunately, I have got this, which is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I just didn't get along with this. I tried it, I got like 100 pages in maybe, and I just couldn't. Like, it was, I think the premise of this book is really cool. So our main character is called Emily Wilde, and she is writing an Encyclopedia of Fairies, funnily enough, from the title, but she is a little bit, not strange, but she isn't necessarily a likeable character. She's very standoffish, she doesn't really like people, which I get, because I don't really always like people, but yeah, she's not really someone that I enjoyed reading from the perspective of. And this is also massively, you know, there wasn't enough fairiness in here for me, so it's a no from me, unfortunately, on that one. Another special edition for me is The Bright and the Pale. So I wanted to give this a go, but I also missed out on buying the sequel from Fairy Loot, or wherever this came from. Was it Fairy Loot? Yeah. So I've kind of been put off reading it because I know that I won't get a matching edition, which is also fine. But I don't know. It's a heist story, I think, but I've read so many heist stories that I don't really know if this is going to stand out, and also I haven't heard anything that says that this is doing anything differently to what has already been done. So I thought, why keep it? Let's just get rid and make room for other things. I've also got The Sisters Grimm by Menna Van Praag. This was my very first Illumicrate book back in 2020. And I have to say, I tried with this. I tried multiple times, and I couldn't get past even 50 pages of this. This is about 4 sisters Grimm, and they're born to different mothers but on the same day, and they all have, like, I think they're meant to have, like, different powers or something. And I don't know, like, the idea sounds great, but like I said, I couldn't even get to 50 pages, so there's no point trying to carry on, because I will just be doing that with everything. And as you can probably see, I have many things I need to read, so we're gonna just try and cut down here a little bit. I also don't want to talk to you extensively about these. I just want to give you the reason why I'm getting rid of them, and then move on. But I'd be here for hours, and I don't want to do that, so we're just gonna move on. Next up, I have got The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is the normal edition. I have another edition of it down here, but this one is stamp signed, I believe. This one isn't. So I'm getting rid of it. I haven't even got to this part of the series, but the fact that I know what the relationship is in this series kind of ruins past ones for me a little bit, so there's that. But yeah, I have an interest to read it. I just don't need 2 copies of the exact same book where the only difference is one is stamp signed and one is not, because why bother with that. Another book that I've got another edition of, that so I don't need this one. This is the original, just standard edition. It's got a bit of foiling underneath it, but it's not the special edition of Ninth House. It's not signed or anything. I love this book. I do love this book. This is Dark Academia, kind of. I have seen that people have said that it's not necessarily Dark Academia because it doesn't delve into Alex's studies, who is our main character in this, but I like the vibe of the Dark Academia. I don't necessarily want to read about her being at school. I want to read about her being part of the secret societies that she's meant to be policing, essentially. So that's why I really love this, because it gave me what I wanted, which I love. And yeah, I think I gave this like 4 or 5 stars when I read it. I do want to reread it, but like I said, I've got another edition now. I've now got the Illumicrate special editions of Ninth House and Hellbent, so I no longer need that one. And yeah, I just love it. I think I'm going to enjoy my reread when I eventually get to it. I just need to get to it. So an arc that I actually got in this pile is this one, which is the Book of Gothel by Mary McMine. I read this earlier this year, maybe. Obviously I'll be donating this because it's an arc and I cannot sell it, and that's completely fine with me. This is a kind of origin story about why Mother Gothel became Mother Gothel. We are following our main character Hailwise, and she is training to be a midwife with her mother, and a lot of things go wrong for this girl, which obviously makes sense as to why the bookmark keeps falling out, as to why she becomes Mother Gothel. However, the way that it's done in this book isn't what I wanted, so I gave this 3 stars. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it to anyone. However, for me, I wanted more of a villain story, and this is more of a redemption arc, in my opinion. So I think it is enjoyable, and I did enjoy the writing. The author is pretty good at that, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So that's sad. I also won't reread it. Now I've read it and reviewed it, so take that as you will. Next up, we have got Ace of Spades by Farida Abiki Yimidi. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. So this is a standalone YA thriller mystery book. It's meant to be for fans of Get Out, and there's another thing. What was the other thing? I can't remember what the other book is, or the other recommendation is for this, but this is the Illumicrate special edition that they did. I read it. I thought it was okay. I believe it got 3 stars from me. The writing's really good. I like the thriller mystery element. This is a really interesting way to dive into institutionalized racism. My problem with this book was that the ending gave me more questions than answers, and I didn't like that, and I don't like that anyways. I do like open endings where you can make your own decisions, but the ending point to this book I was confused by, because what happened previously in my head wouldn't have made sense for the characters to end up where they ended up. But still, good book, good read, did enjoy it. And I have got like the character cards and stuff for this still too, so when I try and sell this I'll be selling it with the character cards as well, which is pretty cool, because I like that I actually still have that ability to do, I guess. Next up, we've got Atlas 6, which this is the Fairy Loot edition, so I have kept on my shelves the Illumicrate editions and the Waterstones editions. I didn't like the second book, the Atlas Paradox, in the way that Fairy Loot were going to do it, so I didn't buy it, so now I have just the first one of the Atlas 6 without any of the others. I don't know. I'm actually reading this currently, and I'm enjoying it. It's a good book. The premise is a competition style where they have taken 6 kind of like college graduates and above into this secret society, and they have to protect the knowledge in the Alexandrian Library, but they will only keep 5, so one of them won't make it out. And we're still unsure as to whether that means death or just won't make it to the next level, and I'm not quite sure which one I would prefer, but currently where I have met all of the characters, we are getting more of the backstory, and I am really enjoying it. I am just too tired every night to actually sit down and read it, which is obviously proving to be a slight problem. I am also planning to get rid of this one, which is We All Fall Down by Rose Sabo. I haven't heard great things about this, if I'm honest, and that makes me not want to read it, so I'm not going to read it. It's also, I think it's one of the better printed ones. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't heard good things. So people I trust have reviewed this and have not enjoyed it and have questioned certain elements of it. Therefore, I personally, like I have said before, I've got so many books on my shelves to read that if I'm not interested, I have tried a chapter of this book as well. I did a try chapter video before Christmas, I think. If I can find it, I'll link it up here for you, which is really fun. I really enjoy filming these types of videos. But I tried a chapter and I just wasn't pulled in at all. So that just sealed the deal for me on the fact that I don't want to try it. So that's fine. There are some books that are for everyone, and there are some books that aren't, and that's completely cool. The next books I'm getting rid of are 2 in a series, and they are the first 2 books in the James Islington trilogy, The Shadow of What Was Lost and All an Echo of Things to Come. I'm getting rid of these because I have got the hardback editions on my shelf, and I don't think you can see them because they're on this shelf here. I am umming and ahhing about whether I want to keep the paperbacks just to read them because they're really floppy. But I got these from a charity shop, so I'm more than happy to give them back to charity and give them to someone who would like to give them a try. They're chunky boys. I'm very excited to get to them eventually. They've got some fantastic names on the back of them, both of them. So yeah, I'm excited to give these books a try. I just haven't got round to it yet. Another full set that I think I'm gonna get rid of them. I am gonna unhaul them, but I kind of want them in the proper edition. So I've got the mass paperbacks of this trilogy, which is the Black Magician trilogy by Trudy Canavan, which is the Magician's Guild, the Novice and High Lord. I believe they're all part of the same, yeah, they're all the same trilogy, books 1 to 3. I am thinking of rebuying them. So I got these from a charity shop, but I don't want to read them because I don't enjoy this format, which is stupidly picky of me, and I'm aware of how stupid that sounds, but I also know I'm not going to get to them anytime soon, so I'm going to get rid of them now, get them off my shelves, and if I want to pick them up later on, I could repurchase them. I could probably find them in another charity shop, but I bought these ages ago when I was on a trip down to Devon, and they had a really lovely little second-hand shop, and I just picked them up and then haven't read them since, so that's great. I've got so many special editions in this box. The next one I've got in the box is this one, which is the Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. So I bought this off someone. It's the underlined edition, so it's got a signed book plate in it, and I really wanted to give it a try because it's like the tale of Guinevere, but she's come to wed Arthur, and I think she's meant to be like tricking him or something. I'm not too sure. And I thought I was really going to get to it soon, and I have had this on my shelf for at least probably 2 to 3 years. I think I bought this in 2020. When did this even come out? Because I bought this during my I have to own every special edition I can find in my budget phase, which is a ridiculous phase, and I'm kind of glad I'm out of it now, because it was costing a lot. 2019 this came out, so yeah, 2020 would be about right, to be fair. It's when I joined BookTube and Bookstagram and stuff. So I bought it thinking I was going to get to it. It's been on my shelf for 3 years. Haven't even picked it up. So why even try? Another special edition. These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Special edition. Foiling, all that fun stuff. I'm getting rid of this because I am a bit annoyed. So I ordered the sequel to this, whatever it is, these Twisted Bonds, I think, in the stenciled edge, which was, you know, the first one that they announced, and Hermes sent it back to Fairy Loot. And then when I asked Fairy Loot for it, they said, oh no, we don't have another copy of it, so we're just going to refund you, when they could have just sent me the book back because it had my address on it. And bearing in mind, Hermes didn't even try to deliver it. It wasn't like I'd missed 3 delivery attempts. On the first delivery attempt, they just went, yeah, no, we're sending it back. And I've got no idea why. So I missed out on getting that, and obviously now they sell for stupid prices. This is a YA. I was intrigued, to be fair, but now I am kind of rage quitting. I would say this book and this series, not because of the author or anything, but because I won't get matching editions, I'm not interested. So someone else can have this and enjoy it. And I also probably won't read it anytime soon because, again, it's a YA and I've got so many YAs on my shelf. I'm trying to only keep the ones I'm actually really, really interested in. And I'm trying to cut down the list. I really think there should have been like some rhyme or reason to this. Maybe I should have sorted these books out, but hey, I am a chaotic force and I don't do that. So next up we've got Winter's Orbit, which I have read. Gave it 3 stars. This was an Illumicrate book in 20 something, obviously 20 something because we haven't gone past 20 something. I can't even see when this was. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. I've read this, tried it. 3 stars maybe. It was okay. There was too much romance in it for me. So I'm not going to read it again. So what's the point in keeping it? I thought it was going to be more, not necessarily Star Wars-y, but like more along that frame of mind, and it just wasn't. So I will not be rereading it. So there's no point in keeping it. Serpent and Dove. This is the first book in the trilogy, but this is the copy I actually read. Apparently this is a first edition as well, which is bonkers, because there's nothing special about it. But I ended up buying this because I bought the reprint of Serpent and Dove from Fairy Loot when they did their Blood and Honey box, and I got really impatient because I wanted to actually make sure I was going to enjoy the box, so I bought the first book to read, and I gave this 5 stars. I loved this, so the only reason I'm getting rid of it is because, again, I've got 2 copies of it and I don't need 2 copies of it, but I need to carry on with the series because I've only read the first one, and now it's been so long since I read the first one, which was all the way up there. I feel like I need to do a reread, and I'm not feeling that at the minute. So another special edition, and the last special edition that I can actually see for a while, if there are any more, is Star Daughter. So I, again, have tried to read this book. This is also a very shiny book. I've tried to read this book. It's about a young girl who is the daughter of a star, and she injures her father, I think. Yeah, a flare of starfire burns her human father, an injury only a full star's blood can heal. Chital has no choice but to answer the star song and ascend to the sky, but her celestial family has summoned her for a reason, to act as a human champion in a competition to decide the next ruling house of the heavens. And I haven't really managed to get, I tried really hard to get to the competition element of this book, and I just couldn't. So it's going, because I'm not going to read it. It can't just sit on my shelf because it looks pretty. It needs to go. And that's the plan. I also have quite a few non-fictions in here. So first up is this one, which is Lauren Graham, Talking as Fast as I Can. Basically, right, a lot of these non-fictions, I'm just going to preface this now. When I went to uni, I got given like 200 quid, I think it was, for books in my last year, because they changed the system. Instead of giving you books every year, they gave you a sum of money that if you spent it, fantastic, and if you didn't, you lost it. And it got to the end of the year and they sent me an email saying, yeah, you've got this much credit, you need to get rid of it, because I only bought 1 book in my final year, because I only needed 1 book in my final year. And I went, okay. And I bought loads of non-fiction, because before, the year before I left, the year before I was in my last year, you could buy so many other books, but they only really had non-fictions that I could get. So yeah, I got this, Lauren Graham. I'm not going to read it. I really love her in Gilmore Girls, like Ask My Other Half. I watch Gilmore Girls religiously, at least once a year. Love it. But I'm not going to read her autobiography, so that's gone. And then I've got The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because my lovely friend got me a hardback edition, actually, so I don't need 2 editions of this, so this is going. This follows a theme. Get your life back on track with CBT and stop worrying. I didn't read this. I still worry, and I will forever worry, so someone else can hopefully get some use out of that. And then this one is also kind of laughable, to be fair. Oh, almost threw that in my head. The Spend Less Handbook. 365 tips for a better quality of life while actually spending less. And again, I haven't read this because I love the idea of, you know, saving money, but I don't really, nowadays, I don't want a book telling me how to do it. You know, and bearing in mind, some of it's, right, I've literally just flipped open to a page. Some of the recommendations are get rid of all your debts and get back in the black. If this means living on baked bean, curry and pasta with tomato sauce for a month, then so be it. Because it's so easy for everyone. Another one is get an extra job to help you out. Avoid gambling and don't be a financial ostrich. I don't even know what that means. So yeah, and also the ideas of these will be really out of whack because household expenses, the average house spends £500 to £600 a year on gas and electric. Not anymore, it's about £2,000. So that's outdated and I don't need to be shouting at a book. So that is also going. So the next one is this, which is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm a bit sad about this because this was a gift when I did like a book swap ages ago. But I will not be getting to this anytime soon. Which is very sad. I do have an interest to read it, but it's not going to be anytime soon. So again, like I said with the Trudy Canavan books, when I want to read it, I will probably rebuy it. But currently, I just don't have the space. I think there's like 3 of these. I think there's another one somewhere. Oh god. So there is another one of these somewhere, and I don't really know where. But there are these 2 by Frances Harding, which is Fly By Night and The Lie Tree. This one won a Costa Award. They were... I did a books to door order years ago and got drawn in by the fact that they have very cheap sets on that site. And yeah, bought these, and they are not my vibe. So Frances Harding writes some very dark and creepy books. One of these is about a doll, and I don't really know which one it is. Maybe it isn't one of these, maybe it's the other one that is in this box currently somewhere. But yeah, I am no longer interested in them, so we're not going to read them at all. I have got, oh there it is, there's the 3rd one, The Cuckoo Song. This one's about a doll. I don't like dolls. I don't need another reason to hate dolls. And this one I have tried. So this one is about well, it's not really about a doll, is it? But a young girl wakes up and she realises that she doesn't feel herself. So the top bit says, the first things to shift were the doll's eyes. The beautiful grey-green glass eyes. Slowly they swiveled under until their gaze was resting on Triss's face. Then the tiny mouth moved to speak. Who do you think you are? This is my family. So, you know, creepy. Don't need that. Don't really enjoy that. Next one is The Dark Legacy of Shannara. Terry Brooks. This is book 2. My friend very kindly gifted me this. Or I had this and she was going to give me the first one. I don't remember. But either way, I don't have the first one currently to hand. I have got 2 Terry Brooks books. That's interesting. On my shelf, which are both the first books in other series. So, like I said, I will rebuy when I get to that point. But I just have not got to that point. We have more hardbacks. Poppy War and Dragon Republic. So the reason I'm getting rid of these, one is because I've got the Illumicrate special editions, and the reason I bought these is because I wanted the hardback editions. Well, I wanted the hardback edition of this, but then I couldn't get the hardback edition of this. This is the American version, so there's not a big difference, but there's a slight difference, and it was annoying me. I also, like I said, got the Illumicrate editions. So I have got this whole set in hardback and it's really pretty. Although I do like this about American editions, like this little colour thing. Don't know why we don't have that on English books, but we just don't. But I love this series, and I will eventually finish it. I am still reading Dragon Republic, and eventually I will finish it. I just don't know when, but it will be at some point. I went to 66 books, and now this is not like a brag or anything, but I went to 66 books before it found its way onto TikTok, which is very cool. I'm glad it found its way onto TikTok. The guy who runs it is lovely. But I went to 66 books, and again got pulled into the fact of cheap books. So I bought The Poisoned House and Fire Spell, and you know what? Couldn't give a toss about either of them. And please tell me I'm not the only person that does this. I am not the only person, surely, who goes, gets pulled into a deal, or picks something up and goes, yeah, I'm going to read that, and then 3 years later, or more actually, because I bought these pre-COVID, because I went there in like either my final year of uni or the in-between year of uni, so it's either been 5 or 6 years since I went, and I still have not read these books, or had the urge to pick them up. What is wrong with me? This is another 66 book I bought, which I thought, yeah, that's going to be a really good one to read. And now, no, not a good one. So this is the time in between. And this is a real life book about Nancy Tucker's battle with anorexia. Now, I thought this would be really interesting to kind of like get an idea of, you know, what someone is going through, that sort of thing. No, this is not no, it's not going to have a positive effect on me. I do not need that right now. It's gone. What else have we got in here? Oh, another non-fiction. Scrappy little nobody, Anna Kendrick's memoir. Again, she's awesome. I think she's really cool. But I have actually started reading this before and then gave up because I was not interested. Non-fictions, unless apparently they're written by the Obamas, I have no interest in. I don't know. A lot of these books I'm going to say now are also because I own them in a different edition. So, oh, that's a different book. This is one of them. I don't know if I've got the first book in here or if my friend took it. I might have somewhere. Like I said, I should have really put this into some kind of order. Maybe we will find it later on. But this is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. I have all of these books in hardback now because of a deal I found like last year. So I don't need them in paperback. They can disappear. So there's that. Fondly, Jade City. I own the Illumicrate editions, so I don't need the paperback. This has never been read, so, you know, brand new book. What else have we got? I've also got a lot of YA in here. I think we're getting into the YA section. Passenger and Wayfarer. I really liked Passenger, actually, when I read it ages ago. Alexandra Bracken. There's time travel in it. But I have not read the sequel, and I don't want to. So, you know, there's those. Like I said, I'm not really giving you a whole in-depth thing. I have a duplicate copy of The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. I think literally the reasoning for this is that this one got splashed. It's completely fine. There is no damage to it. This one got splashed by water by someone when we were chilling by a pool, and I lost my shit. I lost my rag, and Jack bought me a second copy because he felt bad. So I don't need another edition. I have got the first 3 books in this series. This is Evermore. This was like one of those vampire-y series from when I was a teenager. I got these on like a exchange thing. Like, I think I paid shipping for these only because I wanted to reread them and like kind of relive my teen years, because I remember kind of enjoying Evermore. I don't enjoy Evermore anymore. Nope, not at all. No enjoyment whatsoever. So that's going. I've got all of my Maze Runner books to go. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, there they are. All of the Maze Runner. These are not being held up in any particular order, mind. All of the Maze Runner books. I have read the first one. I tried to read the second one. did not get on with it. Not something I wanted to read, funnily enough. Oh, and I have another arc, which I got when I bought something else. Well, this is Wicked As You Wish by Rinch Pecco. I didn't enjoy this at all. I can't really remember what it's about, actually. I think this got put into a book box, which is why whoever had it, but this went on sale in 2020, literally in March, so that was a great month for them, bless them. But it's like mixing magical and real world, and no, I didn't enjoy it that much, so we're getting rid. Duplicate copy, Red Queen. I own all of the books, I think, somewhere down here. Oh, you can see them, literally down there. So I didn't need a second copy, so getting rid. One that everyone hated, I think, or everyone I have seen read this book has not enjoyed it. Infinity Son, unfortunately, by Adam Silvera. I also did not enjoy it. There were too many points of view. It was very convoluted. I wanted to like this so much more than I did, because it's about superheroes. It just wasn't the one, unfortunately. So there's that. Another one that wasn't the one for me, House Moving Castle. Unfortunately, I tried it, could not get through it. Absolutely could not get through it. So it's going, because I'm not going to pick it up. This is the thing. I am trying things and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pick them up. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I've got another YA book, Vivian versus the Apocalypse. I think this is about like a culty kind of thing, I believe. Oh yeah, Vivian Apple never believed in the Church of America, unlike her fanatical parents. It's about her escaping the church and also an apocalypse that comes to, you know, kill off America, which I'm sure someone will find interesting. I just don't. What else have we got? Oh, we've got these, which are two thrillers. These are two thrillers that I got in a surprise box. So I bought, like, I don't even remember who the company was, basically, but I got a surprise box from them thinking that maybe it'd be my thing. All of the books are thriller books. I can't even remember if there was a way to pick the genre of books. I got really unlucky, got books I couldn't even care about, unfortunately. And I also got a load of Ted Baker products, which I also was not bothered about. I would have rather had like some bookmarks or something, but nope. I'm not a contemporary reader. I wanted to be at one point, so I got The Secret Dream World of a Shopaholic because I loved the movie, but no, that's pretty much a lot of these. It's just like, no, just no. Next up is Shade's Children by Goth Nix. I tried this, but the writing style I just couldn't get behind, unfortunately. This was my other half's favourite book growing up, so I did give it a try. But it's just very clunky for me, which is the point. That's the way it's meant to be written, that's the way it's meant to come across, but I just couldn't find a flow with it. I couldn't find a way to enjoy the writing style. So yeah, that's a no. I've got another trilogy I bought off, what's it called? Books to Door. I believe Contagion is the first one. Again, something about a pandemic, essentially. Or an epidemic, as they say. No. After COVID, I really have lost all my love for stuff like that. So that's a no from me. I have another duplicate, Wayfarer. I got the special editions. I think they were Illumicrate ones, actually. I love this book. I really enjoyed it. I recommended it to... I can't remember who, but I did a collab and I recommended this book. I haven't read the sequel yet. I want to do a reread, actually, so I can read both back to back. But I didn't need this edition, so I am giving this one up to go to another good home so someone can experience it. And yeah, then I've got my special editions, so it's good. We are getting into... Oh god, I'm just tipping everything over. We are, I think, officially, after this one, into YA ground. So this is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Again, tried it, couldn't get behind the writing style. Not my thing, which is fine. And then we go on to all the YA books that I read when I was growing up. So the first one is this, Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. I bought this because she wrote All the Bright Places, and I loved that book. Loved that book. I saw the ending coming, but I really hoped it wouldn't happen, and then it happened, and I just loved it. So this follows a young girl called Libby, and unfortunately no one has ever looked past her weight. And at the start of the story it does say about a traumatic thing that happened to her in her past, which isn't a spoiler because it's in the very first chapter, where she had to get cut out of her house because she got so large she couldn't leave. And the other character in this book is called Jack, and he suffers from, I don't know what it is, but there is a medical term, and he can't recognise faces. So throughout this book he comes across as like really aloof and that sort of thing, but he just can't identify faces, and it's a really interesting point of view to have because it's not one that I've ever read from before, and I really like both these points of view, and these two characters meet obviously and then they collide and things happen, but I thought this was really lovely. I really enjoyed reading it. I will never read it again, but there's that. Another one I enjoyed reading is Trouble. So this is about a young girl called Hannah who is 15 and pregnant, and her world collides with a young guy called Aaron, who is the headmaster's son, I believe. He's new, and the headmaster is new as well, and there's like an altercation that's happening at the start, and he basically steps up and pretends to be the father of her child. So it's really interesting actually, and I loved this. There's a couple of books actually that I read around this time that I loved, but I just won't read them again, so there's no point keeping them on my shelves, and they're not really the sort of books that I want to keep and put to the side for my kids or my younger sister, because probably by the time she gets to the point where she's reading stuff like this, there'll be other books or better books, or you know, something like that she can read, or I can always recommend them to her. But currently I am not holding on to this until they are of that age, because that would definitely be a while. I've never read this, but this was meant to be really good, which is why I own it. But this is Wonder, and I believe there's a film made of this. I also have not seen the film. I love the back of this. It just says, "My name is August. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking is probably worse." I wish that I did actually still kind of read these books, but I have no interest. And my attention at the minute is so terrible that if a book doesn't hold my interest, I just stop reading. So there's no point keeping them. And I've gone past my contemporary phase now. I'm fully back into fantasy. I love fantasy. There is nothing wrong with contemporary. There's nothing wrong with romancy books, because I also read P.S. I Love You and loved it. Bearing in mind nowadays I sell myself as I do not read romance. I'm not a romance reader. I adored this book. I think it's also because I loved the film that I adored this book. Cecilia Ahern. Is it Cecilia? Yeah. I love her writing. There's other books of hers that I've read and I've unhauled in the past and stuff. There's one that she wrote about an imaginary friend, and my gosh, was that amazing. I loved that. But again, I don't read them. I don't find the joy in them anymore. I still love watching a good rom-com, do not get me wrong, but I don't find the joy in them, which is why I don't want to read them. This is one that I actually found at Costco and I bought because it said signed. This is The Foundling by Stacey Halls. I don't know why Costco had signed editions, but they did. This is a historical fiction. Two women bound by a child and a secret that will change everything. So someone leaves a daughter, and then she finds out, and then the mother gives up her child, and then she goes back because she is worried that she has died in care, and when she goes back she realises that the baby is already being claimed, and she was claimed, I don't even know who, but she was claimed. So yeah, no idea, but I have that one. I don't know if that's worth anything, but I'll try and sell it. It's a hardback and it's signed, so why not? These ones I tried, The Darkest Minds. Never Fade, books 1 and 2. Alexandra Bracken again. Tried the first one, only got so far. I think my problem with this one was that it was essentially the same as what I'd already read in, because this came out probably around the same time as, well, I don't know if it came out, but I became aware of it around the same time as when I was reading Divergent and Hunger Games. It's that vibe. And by the time I got to these, which was in uni, I was over that vibe. So, you know, if I'd have read them when I was younger, I probably would have loved them, but I didn't. So, there's that. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda and Leah on the Bee. I've actually read both of these. I did enjoy them. But again, I'm not going to reread them, so someone else can read them. There was a film, because, yeah, the film was called Love, Simon, and it was, I remember, I can picture the kid in my head who it was. But yeah, I did enjoy this. I enjoyed this because it's a spin-off, and Leah is in this book, and then she gets her own book, and I love some of the thoughts and feelings within these books. I think it's written very well for teenagers. It's a very good YA, in my opinion, from what I remember as well. Remember, it's been a while since I've read them, but again, not going to read them, so I'm not going to read them again. So why would I? Oh, I've got all of these, which I forgot about. Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Superman, and Batman. By various different authors. One is Mary Lou, one is, I don't know who he is. Sarah J Maas wrote one, and Leigh Bardugo wrote another one. I got these as a set. I think I read, or I tried to read, Batman. And I don't think I will read any of them. I don't really think, as much as I like their writing style, I don't really think I will, I'll read them. Which is a shame, but, you know. Again, someone else can have them, and they can go to a lovely new home, and other people can love them, and that's the main thing. This is actually the final one that I read when I was younger, and that's this one, which is Someone Else's Life. And this is also a really hard-hitting, really well done, in my opinion, book. So in this, our main character, Rosie, her mother dies, and her mother dies of Huntington's disease, and it's hereditary, if you weren't aware. So Rosie is obviously now, once her mother has passed, is worried because Huntington's is hereditary, and she's worried that she's gonna have it as well, and she gets tested and finds out that her mother wasn't actually her biological mother. So she goes on the hunt to find her biological family, and do you know what? The ending to this book was just something else. I absolutely loved it. It's told from two different perspectives. One is Rosie, and one is the other person that she was swapped with. But I don't think you figure it doesn't tell you really until you get further in. But the ending to this was so good, and I really enjoyed it. But again, I'm not going to reread it. I won't, and I do worry that if I reread any of these books that I loved when I was a teenager, I would just wreck them, because not a lot of things stand up to me, personally. My last duplicate copy is this edition of Renegades by Marissa Mayer. I have got the new covers, and although I love this cover, I really, really do. I love the foiling on it. I don't need it. And I have actually read this whole series, and I really enjoy it. So I do want to actually finally bite the bullet and buy the third and final books. I've got Renegades and Arch Enemies. I just need Supernova, but I listened to them all audibly, and they were really, really good. Final middle grade, Ramasia. I bought this last year. I got talked into this by a lovely Waterstones seller, and she said that I would enjoy it, and she was right. I did enjoy it. It's a retelling of Rapunzel with hijab instead of long hair, which I thought was a really nice thing, and it was lovely. But again, I won't reread it, so I might actually give this one to my sister, because I think this is about the right age for her. But there's like 4 retellings in here of Ramasia, which is Rapunzel, Cinderella, which is Cinderella, Sleeping Sarah, which is, and that is the third one, Sleeping Beauty, which is the third and final, and then there's a little Q&A at the back. So I think my sister might actually be the right age for that one, so I might give her that. And then I've got 2 more. and they are a duology. So let me just get them. So they are none other than Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits. I wish this had been a standalone. My goodness, I wish it was a standalone. I loved this one. This one let me down. This is the Fairy Loot edition. Is it Fairy Loot? I think maybe. Not sure. But it was before they even did printed covers. They just had signed. They had just signed it and had the sprayed edges. But yeah, the first book was amazing. The second one was just not it for me. So I will be getting rid of them because that is the point. So there you go. That is the end of my unhaul. Now let me see how many books I actually have here. So that is a grand total of 79 books that I am unhauling. So probably not only is this my biggest ever unhaul, this is obviously my first ever real unhaul on this channel. I think that's pretty good going, to be fair. So yeah, keep an eye out. I will announce probably on my Twitter when I finally listed the books that I'm going to be selling. Feel free to reach out to me on like Twitter or Instagram DMs if you actually want anything before I manage to list it. I'm sure we can arrange something because I just need these books out of my house, if I'm honest. I just want them out. But yeah, that's everything for today's video. If you've got this far, thank you very much for sticking with me. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below of the last book that you unhauled. Could be anything, let me know. And if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and ring that notification bell to get notified every single time I upload new videos. I try to upload every Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to stick around for more bookish content from me, but otherwise that is everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.